Hey, warm welcome, folks, to Realty Check. You know about our podcast. I mean, this podcast is really put together by you guys. And in this podcast, we deep dive. We just don't give you surface level information. We deep dive under the skin of real estate. And today, to deepen our conversation around Chelsea and DAMAC, which has been the hot thing, which has been flooding social media, and you've seen it, we want to talk this from a very different perspective. And to deepen this conversation, we have a very colorful personality. I have so much about him that I have no other way but to read a little. So you get to know who this personality is. I will be disappointed if you guess before I finish, because he is such a personality that you can guess.
They'll think it's messy.
You are a personality. Don't show him yet. He's not in the picture. Don't show him yet. This is about him. Let me give you a bit. He's a vlogger. His life is around media. He is a personality who dabbles into media, into narrative storytelling, into art, motor enthusiast. Imagine 300 million views on YouTube, 4 million and more ticking and following him online. He's a man who's chased after. And I tell you that this man is absolutely a colorful personality. I'm going to talk about life. We're going to talk about real estate as well. So I'm not going to disappoint you in this conversation. So with that, I want to tell you who that person is. I'm sure most of you would have guessed by now. This is Lowi Nazal of Sahi Real Estate. He's a CEO, founder, owner of Sahi Real Estate. Lowi, such a pleasure to have you.
That's such a great intro that I think we are done. Thank you so much. See you next episode. Wow.
That's Lowi for you, by the
How
way.
did you do this intro?
Yeah, we usually keep our stars as rock stars. So we
No,
want to give them that introduction.
He said, let's keep it organic. And he started talking like it was the Super Bowl.
It is a Super Bowl when you have personalities like Lowi.
Yeah.
Lowi, I want to take you straight into, put you under the spotlight. I mean, you're a personality all over. Right? We've heard about you. I follow you on YouTube. I've listened to some of your videos. Tell us a little about what brought you into this whole world of media. You're also the ambassador for the Ministry of Happiness. I mean, you're already bringing a lot of joy to me for sure. We also know that you are also a masterclass host for the new media academy the government set up. You are all over in media. Tell us a little about what brought you there, besides your education in Brussels, which I know that in Belgium you studied and did proper on media. Tell us a little about what brought you into media.
So I guess it all starts with your childhood, teenagehood, when you start watching these American movies, Indian movies, and you get inspired by storytelling. And I think from that little age, it's either you really fall in love with this art of storytelling or not.
Right.
Some grew to be loving numbers, and some grew to love languages and stories. And so I think it comes from there. And plus studying visual art and advertising in Belgium helped a lot to help me structure my stories, because I always love making people laugh since very little age. And I aspire to be stand-up comedian, and then by accident I became a real estate agent.
Oh, right. Okay, you tripped from the stage.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, so
nice. Good to know.
So this led me to step into the wave of social media, but really without any plan. Like most of the first wave of content creators back in 2015, 16 in the UAE. There was no YouTuber, there was no vlogger, there was maybe fashion bloggers, because blogging was way before Instagram and YouTube. But then we just saw some inspirations here and there from Europe and the US, and we made it a bit more localized to the Middle Eastern audience. And we were very lucky because we started at the right time. With the right, of course, effort and energy.
But also, absolutely, I was just about to mention that. You brought in that aura, that energy into media. Because a lot of people who've jumped into the bandwagon, but not all of them make it that cut above, But I think your personality has brought a lot in. Is this in the DNA in the family? Or is it just you as a trendsetter?
I think it's the need to be original. And
great.
It's something in my personality. Like if there's a new song and everybody's crazy about it, I just don't listen to it.
Really?
I let 2 months pass by and then I listen to it. I'm like, guys, this is a nice song. I just like something to be original, to be unique, to tell us a story that has never been told.
Told before.
And I think this goes back to my education in advertising,
Right.
where we are really taught to not copy or duplicate
Authenticity.
any idea.
Nice.
So sometimes we come up with a concept, but then we need to do a research. Has it been done anywhere in the world? So people don't say that we copied it,
Wow.
which is very different from today's scene where everybody's doing the same kind of challenges, videos, etc.
Right.
So yeah, it's important to stay original.
Yeah, you're also on the covers of the Porsche magazine. I also know that you were invited for a Formula One test with Infinity.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Are you a motor enthusiast?
Yeah, of course. It was a great honor for me because, you know, being from the first generation of content creators, it was new for everyone.
Right.
It was new for us and new for the brands also.
Yeah.
They used to spend on advertising on TV and print and billboards. And then they have the opportunity to, for the first time, invite talents, storytellers. We didn't even have a name back then.
Then, yes.
Yeah, so to be able to do these crazy challenges and collaborations with these international brands was something very, very unique. When I look back at me driving a real Formula One, and it was the V8, not the new. Anyway, that's too much details.
Yeah,
but
it was a V8 then. Yeah,
it was for me the pinnacle of my social media career because this you cannot reproduce anymore today.
Absolutely, so genuine, like what you said, very authentic, very
exactly,
unique.
Exactly.
Tripping from main stage, you've got media now. That's something which is going to support you, I'm sure, to run any sort of business. You've got a following. How did you translate that into real estate? I mean, Sahi is your life and blood.
Yeah. So we come from a family of, my dad is a jeweler, so owning a shop, trading gold and stones and diamonds. So for us, trading and the need of selling is something that's in the family. So I've always thought that social media is not the end goal. It's a tool. It's a tool for me first to tell the stories that I want. But also one day is to convert that to something, let's say, profitable in the future.
Yeah.
Because you know, you cannot sustain only living from social media. And collaborations with brands and so on. So actually, I was very scared to turn my audience into clients in any way because I was so true to them that I felt if one day I would sell something to them, it would be considered like it's like using your audience for something
for your purposes,
your own purpose. But the way it came, it was a bit different. Where my audience started to ask me about investing in Dubai.
Lovely.
Because most of my content was in Dubai, but it was about family, about enjoying the city or discovering new areas.
Very social in context.
Very social, yeah. And plus, I was invited to many events, so it was very nice to watch it. But then in the comments, Lowi, how can we buy an apartment? I didn't know. Lowi, how can we buy a house in Dubai? I don't know. So I started to do my research and I saw a huge amount of people who are interested, who live abroad, who want to come and live in Dubai.
And live in Dubai, yeah.
And I think after Corona, everything shifted so much.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah, especially for families.
Yes, it does.
So we set up our company, I think, a year after the end of lockdown. And DAMAC is one of the first, if not the first developer we signed with. And this is how we started. My first video on YouTube was a video about DAMAC lagoons.
Oh, lovely.
And it generated so many leads, organic leads.
Oh, brilliant. That's good to know.
Sorry for the other agencies who have to spend too much. We have organic leads.
But I'm going to bring that into another discussion. And this discussion is like a debate that we've been having with many, many people. Someone who starts a new organization wants to build his organizational brand. But I beg to differ because you're a prime example. You first build your brand. And I think that's what you have exploited profitably and good so. You used that profitably, not just to make money for yourself and to be an established businessman, but you've used that leverage, that credibility to bring good people to Dubai as well. So are you a big fan of personal branding versus organizational branding? How does that work for you?
I've always advised CEOs, business owners, or even startup enthusiasts to always build the brand image around themselves. Because today, very few people are interested to watch what brands are posting. They are more interested to see what the owner is launching, the lifestyle that he's living, and I think it resonates more with the more emotions to see how the business owner is perceiving life and how he's close to his audience as well. For me, I was lucky because my main goal was to be a content creator. So the brand built itself by itself. I didn't have any other vision than being myself. And I had nothing to sell for 9 years. Other than my ideas,
yourself,
and I think this is a very important thing to mention, is that it's a very long-term investment to build your brand. So today, if with my situation to own two companies, one in media and one in real estate, and plus I need to build my personal image, it would be very hard. I would have to have many more hours in my day to be able to build that.
But again, in the new world that we live in, with so much of influence on the AI and tech stack side of things, IT revolutionizing almost every area of life, and people have become, what do I say? I mean, they've become so short-sighted, instant gratification. I can't be waiting for a year or two for building my brand, and I've seen most of them burn out. So what I hear you saying, and your wisdom, your words of wisdom is, this is long haul. You want to build a personal brand, stay invested, and build it long haul.
So it's like going to the gym. It's you have more important things to do in your day, but your health is number one priority. So to me, building your brand is like going to the gym. You have to be consistent, and it's really important for you, whatever you do in your life, because I didn't know I would have my audience asking me about real estate. So it's my personal brand who led me to a new business.
Brilliant. Okay, that's something that all of you all here who are listening and tuning in got to remember. It's not the transaction. I think it's the credibility and reputation that's gone in building relationships with clients all over. Unfortunately, I'll have to bring the spotlight to my scope, my area,
do that,
which is Chelsea and DAMAC. Now, I know that there are a number of partnerships of these sports brands and even developers coming together, but Chelsea is a brand where DAMAC is invested in. How do you think coming together of an iconic, legendary club like Chelsea, 100 years plus of tradition, and a luxury brand which has got its eye on producing some of the most stunning, I would call them the artifacts, not just a building. You got DAMAC on this side. How has that helped you as a real estate broker from your perspective? What would you say?
Yeah, of course. So the first feeling we get is that a club like Chelsea trusting DAMAC, I'm sure they did a lot of research and a lot of talks, and they analyzed the market. And for them to sign with DAMAC, it means that it's a certification, because as you mentioned, it's a club with 100 plus tradition. So for them, I'm sure they must be very picky to who they partner with. And DAMAC is the right choice for them because DAMAC is one of the biggest developers who made a real change in history of real estate in Dubai. And we cannot deny that. And I think for us, it's easier to pitch such a project than a, let's say, normal non-branded project. You know, so and we use this factor of trust because in our business, and we go back to my dad who is a jeweler, in gold, the most important factor is the trust. And then you look on design and the way.
All the other bits,
so in real estate is the same. It's the trust. So the money that I am putting, the money that I have been saving maybe all my life, I'm putting it in a project. Am I putting it with the right people? So we tell them yes, because Chelsea, they trust these people, and they also invest with them. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, I think it's a win-win, like what you were saying. It's catapulted the whole brand into a new realm with two big brands coming together, like your Chelsea with traditions of 100 years, plus DAMAC with that iconic eye for design and architecture coming together. You also mentioned it's helped in you to run your real estate business as well. Maritime specifically. What's your eye on Maritime City?
Beautiful, beautiful. I love any area that's a bit close to Deira, because to me, Deira will always remain the heart of Dubai.
Oh yes, indeed.
You know, because when people like me who came 2006, 2007, Deira was the center,
Right.
you know, and then we go on a trip to go to a marina, you
Right,
know.
right.
So having new projects near these areas, but you are still on Jumeirah, you are still
Right.
10 minutes from Burj
Yeah,
Khalifa, and it's still a virgin land. You can see the opportunity because today we are programmed as agents.
right,
When you see a land where you have few projects being built, but then the rest is still fresh, then you're like, okay, this is gonna boom. Yeah,
right,
and Maritime City is
right.
lovely, and I love that you already have few coffee shops and few yachts parked,
Yeah,
and then you have few
yeah.
offices, and then you know DAMAC is building there. You can sense that you are witnessing something beautiful
Right,
happening. You
right,
know,
right.
yeah.
And you're also saying that you have some of the other big brands as well coming around the Maritime City. What's your take on the typologies that you believe would be a good hit in a place like Maritime? 1 beds, 2 beds, 3 beds. What's your take?
So I would say we are seeing a lot of people interested in 2 to 3 bedrooms, and we are sensing that uh, our investors are looking for units for themselves.
Right,
Whereas in different areas, they would look for something to invest because they can feel that it's a unique location with a prime view, which
right.
is the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when DAMAC added the brand of Chelsea, they trusted in the project even more.
Right,
So I think 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom to live instead of going to a townhouse a bit further in the city.
right.
I think it's a very good option.
Correct. And by the
to upsize.
seaside as well.
Of course.
We're seeing a premium of anywhere between 30 to 50% for seaside living in Dubai. And what do you think is going to be the future of seaside? Because we don't have much of shoreline left.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's getting developed pretty quickly. And also, the beauty of living by the sea is that it's a bit rare.
Right,
So we need to keep it a bit rare.
right,
But today, to have the opportunity for DAMAC to build on a front line with this huge, beautiful project, I think it's a very strategic. It's a well thought strategic step to do.
right, right.
Yeah.
We also know that your Chelsea residences with a nice mix of typology of 1, 2, and 3 bed. At some point, we knew that the 1 beds had a very high absorption rates,
Yeah.
75%, 80% and above.
Yeah.
But the trend, as a lot of these indicators, Knight Frank, Redden, they all seems to point that a lot more families have started to move into Dubai. Is that a trend that you're witnessing as well? Have you had that experience
Yeah.
as well?
So to be clear, because I need to also put our investors in a category. Because
Right,
today you have
right.
maybe you have 1,000 archetype of investor
Right.
or buyer in Dubai, because we can mention nationality, we can mention age, we can
Yeah.
mention countries where they live.
Yeah,
Each one
absolutely.
has a different
Yeah.
desire or need.
Right.
Okay, so our investor have the need more than the desire. So they are mainly Middle Easterns who live in Europe.
Right.
Okay, so for them, they are having a life for the past 10 to 20 years in Europe.
Right.
They have their routine, they have a successful business.
Right.
So for them, they would like to invest in Dubai, but keep the option of in 3-4 years maybe to move.
Right.
So most of them would go to apartments to invest, and then they would resell it to
Right.
buy a house.
Right.
And this is why our partnership with DAMAC is very essential.
Right.
Because our investors, they start with a 1 bedroom apartment to
Smaller,
invest.
tiny experiment.
And then they would take the second apartment, and then in 2-3 years they sell it and they take a townhouse or a villa in
Right.
Lagoons or DAMAC Hills
Right.
1
Right.
or DAMAC Hills 2.
Got it.
So that's why it's a good opportunity. So for Maritime City, I think it's a bit different, where they would like to take something directly for themselves.
Right. Okay. And in your experience, what kind of nationalities are you seeing? I know we have the regular suspects.
Yeah.
The Indians, the
Yeah.
Brits, the Pakistanis. They're the regular
So if we look
suspects.
at passports, it's Germans, Netherlands, Sweden, Canada, US, but mainly they are originally from the Middle East.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Well, that's
Yes,
people
mainly
tend
Iraqis,
to-
because we are Iraqis, and with our accents, this is the audience we cater to, and
Right.
we are deeply in connection with them, and we love them a
Right.
lot,
Right.
because we get to understand exactly what they need.
Right.
But again, this is my niche because I
Right.
am the brand,
focusing
as
on
you
that.
mentioned. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
amongst that community
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
Right. And are you still seeing a trend of a lot of Europeans as well coming to invest?
Yeah, of course, of course. So I actually, my confusion, or let's say, the dilemma that I am living is that I speak Arabic, I speak French,
Right.
and I speak English. And many times I would like to cater to the three markets,
Right.
but then to create content and nice content for all of them, I would lose even more hair than what I lost already. So of course we see a lot of Europeans
Right.
investing
Right.
in Dubai,
Right.
and I love that. I love that absolutely because we grew up in Europe in a, let's say, in a mediatic messaging around the Arab world that was
Right.
not positive.
Right.
And to see that now they are becoming friends and neighbors and understanding our
Integrated.
culture more,
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
beautiful milestone.
Yeah, and I
I feel.
think very few cities in the world that lends itself
Yeah.
to produce that kind
Yeah.
of community living,
Exactly,
right?
and this goes back to the kindness of His Highness
Oh,
Sheikh
absolutely.
Zayed
Leadership.
and Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. Of
Absolutely.
course, they because they gave this aura to their people, and their
Right.
people are the ones who welcomed us.
Right.
We all remember the first time we came to the airport,
Right.
the kindness of the people
Absolutely.
and how they're welcoming.
Yeah.
So this is on us. So imagine on Europeans who
Right.
don't know anything about the country and they come for
Right.
the first time.
Yeah.
It must be a beautiful surprise.
A complete
Yeah.
experience altogether.
Yeah.
We also seeing trends. We had about 1.1 million apparently new businesses that started off in Dubai in 2024. There's a certain index called the GEM, or the Global Entrepreneurship Matrix. Dubai is number one now, which obviously means it's lending itself to become the new business ecosystem for people to come and set up business. Are you seeing trends of people just wanting to buy and invest in residence and real estate, or are you also seeing people wanting to start their own businesses, expand?
It goes hand in hand.
Really?
So our investors who are inquiring about real estate, at the same time they are inquiring about setting up a business.
Right, right.
And some of them are coming with their experience from abroad,
right.
and they want to start something here. And some of them are keeping their business abroad and then start something new here.
Right.
So they also ask for advice, like
Right.
what kind of business do you think we should do?
Oh, lovely.
So of course within our experience, we recommend, for example, holiday homes or
Right.
renovation and
Right.
selling.
Right.
But we get a lot of talented people. Some of them dentists, surgeons. And we get to have this nice melting pot of investors where we
Just about
sit
to say that.
together. They meet each other sometimes in our office,
Right.
and they come up with startup ideas, and you never know where it goes.
That's how Dubai
you
is.
know?
It's just magnetic in the way they kind of spark off a discussion and something new emerges.
Exactly.
Very typical about how Dubai's ecosystem works. A couple of last things before we wind up this beautiful call. I wish I could just keep it going
Me
even
too.
a lot longer. But
Is it the batteries or is it the?
not the batteries. I think it's just the excitement of keeping and getting as much as I can from you. I know you're busy as well. A couple of things from your side, Lowi. What would your advice be for? There are a lot of people who keep tuning into our show here. Some of them are clients. Some of them are enthusiasts for real estate. Some of them could be those who just want to sign up and start off a brokerage as well.
Yeah.
There are things that we know Dubai lends. Great business opportunities, plenty of money to make. It's a fantastic place. Everything is seamless. The government just supports your working culture here. But what are the things that people tend to overlook? Things which are realistic. That reality that bites. And people tend to overlook. They think, everything is peachy and nice in Dubai. It's not, right?
Yeah.
What are the things that people should be cautious about?
So the first thing, I'm gonna speak about real experience with from meetings I got with clients and long discussions. So the first thing that, depending from where you come, of course, is that the expenses. Okay, you need to calculate the expenses of coming to live in Dubai and compare it to where you live.
Right.
And if you live in a country that has taxes, you need to also implement all of that in your calculation.
Yeah.
But I think Dubai is, of course, it's not a cheap entry ticket.
Absolutely.
It's a city where you come with a great employment or a great capital to do good business.
Business, yeah.
You cannot spend, let's say, a few months or a year just thinking, and if you don't have an income.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so that's something very important. Other than that, I think this is the only factor, because the social media only shows you the bright side of anything, not only Dubai.
Absolutely.
Even my life,
Absolutely.
I show only the great part of it. So of course, when you're gonna look at Dubai or California or Tokyo or New York, you're gonna see only the beautiful side
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure New York, as beautiful as it is, the first thing you notice when you go there is maybe the smell.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
New York,
yeah.
yes,
So this you
indeed.
cannot see on social media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
about Dubai, thank God it smells good,
Yeah.
and we have safety, we have everything. But then you need to be cautious, because not everything you hear on social media is
Necessarily true.
yeah, or
Mm.
true for you.
Mm.
You know, a lot of people came here and maybe they didn't put the right energy, or
Right.
didn't meet the right people in the
Right.
industry that they wanted to,
Right.
and then maybe they didn't get that luck that we got when we
Right.
came.
Right.
So
Do your homework, therefore.
yeah, yeah. But other than that, really, I don't see anything negative about Dubai.
Right. I mean, that's a good news.
Yeah,
It's very difficult to find negative issues for Dubai.
yeah.
Lowi, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much.
And the reason why I thank you is because it's good to have people with a depth of experience across media, social media, and you're a gentleman who has a cost behind everything. You have a great responsibility of fulfilling the right needs and desires of your clients, and you're doing that through Sahi Real Estate. You also have Sahi Media, which is
Yes.
beaming the truth out to people. It's good to know. Lowi, what are the two things that you would want DAMAC to support you with, so that you can quadruple your business? You can catapult from where you are to maybe even ethereal levels of business.
Yeah.
What would those two things
Yeah,
be?
yeah. So it actually depends on us, not on DAMAC. But if I have a suggestion, maybe is to always keep the availability rate high. So today, when you have an inventory of thousands
Right.
of units
Right.
with a diversified projects,
Right.
I think it helps brokers to stay with one developer or
Right.
maximum two.
Right.
But today, when we are seeing that developers are getting more and more niche.
Right.
Some of them are specialized in, let's say, entry-level buildings, and some of them are specialized now in luxury villas. We have to go several boutiques until our investor knows what they want.
Right.
But what I like about DAMAC is that they have a great amount of townhouses, villas, plus apartments. So
Right.
you have everything that you're looking for, plus
Right.
the luxury and the super luxury.
Right.
If I want to quadruple my income, it should be the commission higher.
Right.
So,
Right.
That's
Which
the only way.
Which I'm sure we'll edit from the
We will edit.
But
Yeah.
it's good to know. One is visibility of the kind of inventory, and I think
Yeah.
that's an area that we're also working in. DAMAC 360, by the way, was a revolution. We've created a window where all our partners, like yourself, will be able to see the whole DAMAC universe with just one window opening
Yeah.
into everything. I mean, whether it is to book an event, whether it is to book a unit, whether it is to book a training, everything's there in DAMAC 360.
I'm very optimistic about the new generation, let's say, of management in DAMAC.
Right.
Ms. Amira and
Right.
Mr. Ali, I love how they are really connected with what's happening with the technology these days, and I think they are very far ahead with anything related
are.
to crypto back in the
Absolutely.
days with NFTs. They were the first who jumped into this wave,
Yeah.
and I think it reflects in the company, because today to have this tech implementation
Oh, yes, yes.
For us and for our clients, it's a plus that other developers don't have.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But like rightly what you just said, Edge Next, which is again another pet project for our chairman, which are data centers that they're establishing worldwide, which is a big thing now. It's also, it's not just to set up and run a business. They've been pioneers in everything, including the real estate landscape. We were pioneers in the private landscape. Why we want to create that ecosystem is also not just to run a business, but also take that awareness and that knowledge and that experience and actually pass it on to the rest of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the things that we do as the Academy for DAMAC is to carry that experience into people as well. And we can promise you we will continue giving you that support.
Thank you.
Lowi, it is a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Same for me, thank you.
And I'm actually looking forward for more of these kind of engagements with you.
We can do episode 2 in our office.
I'd love to. I would love to be there.
We just have to take this logo and
put it up there.
Thank you so much
It's
for
wonderful to have you. Thank you so much.
I would like to say something about you as well.
Yes, sir.
It's rare to have a host who studies the guest that much and who gives so much passion and love and dedication to the talk.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for creating this show, and I wish you all the best.
Means a lot coming from me. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for today, and we're glad that you could join us and you heard this nice piece of conversation with Lowi Nazal, who's the CEO of Sahi Real Estate. A couple of things that stood out for me in today's conversation, and something that you may definitely want to consider, is the importance of personal branding. And I think that emanates the strength of credibility, trust, and relationship with your clients, with your larger network above transactions. And that stood out number one for me. And the second is to be authentic. And that's what today people want to hear. We don't want cooked up stories. We do not want statements that come out of a laboratory, but we want to have genuine, factual, authentic views and insights. And we heard today Lowi bringing some of his very genuine insights into the market. So with that, we just want to conclude by saying we have rocked the Chelsea residence breakout that we had, the event booking that we had last week. Sold out completely, 4 towers, and we want to thank you all for all your investment that you've made, and for clients who've shown tremendous interest in the Chelsea DAMAC brand. We want to thank you. But this is not the end. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We would like you to be a part of our channel. And if you are a real estate aficionado who loves to learn, who loves to have a lot more new information, then this is the channel to subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Please do join us for our next episode. Stay tuned.